Took, Chapter 6. As the days passed, Erica and I spent less and less time together. While she spent her afternoons reading and drawing and playing with her stupid doll, I roamed the woods, exploring trails and searching for hawks. Thanks to my binoculars and Peterson's Field Guide to Birds of North America, I could identify red-tailed hawks, sharp-shinned hawks, and Cooper's hawks. I knew the difference between black buzzards and turkey buzzards. Once, I'd even seen a bald eagle. At first, I tried to persuade Erica to come with me, but she'd said no so often, I gave up asking. Fine, let her mope around the house with little Erica. It was obvious she'd rather talk to a doll than me. Pretty insulting, I thought. On the school bus, we sat next to each other, but we didn't talk to each other, and no one talked to us. Erica stared out the window as if she expected to see something in the woods. I stared straight ahead, trying not to listen to the other kids laughing at the snobs from Connecticut. One day after school, I left the house in such a hurry I forgot my binoculars. I'd been watching a red-tailed hawk for a few days, and I noticed the binoculars, and I needed the binoculars to see him in the woods. Annoyed at myself, I hurried home, just in time to see my sister disappear into the woods on the other side of the house. I stopped where I was, puzzled. Erica hated the woods. What was she up to? Maybe I should follow her and find out. Hadn't Mr. O'Neill told me to keep an eye on her? Keeping a good distance between us, I walked as silently as if Erica were a bird. I didn't want to frighten her away. She'd taken a narrow path that meandered through the woods like a deer trail, circling around boulders and trees. Every now and then she stopped and stared into the underbrush, as if she were looking for something. Finally, she came to a clearing and sat on a fallen tree. Cuddling her doll, she began whispering, just as if someone was with her. Not the doll, but a person. I peered into the bushes around her, but I didn't see anyone. At least, I don't think I did. It was more like I sensed a presence. But no, that was crazy. All I heard was a whisper of wind prying leaves from branches. All I saw were shadows. I backed away from Erica. If she wanted to sit in the woods and hold imaginary conversations, let her. Why waste my afternoon spying on her? Without making a sound, I crept away, retrieved my binoculars, and went in search of the red-tailed hawk. By the time I came home, it was almost dark. Erica was sitting on the couch reading to little Erica, exactly what she'd been doing when I'd left the house. I lit the fire and sat beside her. "Have you been here all afternoon?" She looked up from her book. "Of course, where else would I be?" "It's such a nice sunny day and everything. I thought you might have gone outside to play for a while." The doll regarded me with her usual blank stare, but Erica frowned at me. "You know I hate the woods." I was about to accuse her of lying but then decided against it. Maybe I'd follow her again tomorrow, just in case I'd missed something. Suddenly, Erica leaned toward me and asked one of her typical out-of-nowhere questions. "Do you ever have secrets, Daniel?" "Sometimes. Why? Do you?" "Maybe," she said softly. She smiled and gazed into the fire. "What do you mean, maybe? Either you do or you don't." Instead of answering, Erica began reading to the doll again. "Once upon a time, a woodcutter had 2 children, a boy named Hansel and a girl named Gretel." "About your secret," I said. "The one you may or may not have, has it got anything to do with the woods?" "I'm reading to little Erica now," my sister said. "Don't interrupt me." I wanted to snatch the book out of her hands and throw it into the corner and hurl the doll after it. Instead, I left my sister and the doll on the couch and went to the kitchen to make myself a peanut butter sandwich. As I ate, I heard Erica reading, "Nibble, nibble, mouskin," in a scary witch's voice, much deeper and raspier than her normal voice. I almost got up to see if someone else was in the living room. The secret. The old woman waits in the woods, but you wouldn't recognize her. She has taken the form of the girl in the cabin. She watches Erica sit down on a log, just where the dolly tells her to sit. Good. The girl is biddable. She does as she's told. The old woman comes closer. She smiles shyly and waits for Erica to notice her. "Who are you?" Erica is startled, but not afraid, as she would be if the old woman had come as herself. The old woman wears a gray plaid dress with a round collar. Her hair is red and curly. Her face is sweet and sad. "I come to be your friend," the old woman speaks in a soft, childish voice that soothes the girl. "I don't have any friends," Erica whispers. You got yourself one now. The girl sits on the log beside Erica. That's a mighty pretty dolly you got. Can I hold her? Erica holds the dolly tighter. She's very special. Please? The girl reaches for the dolly. I ain't never seen a dolly so pretty as that. Erica looks distrustful, but the dolly whispers, Let her hold me. It's all right. Reluctantly, Erica hands the little girl her dolly. Oh, I wish I had me a dolly like this one, the little girl says. Rocking the doll in her arms, she croons a little song. The tune is familiar, but Erica can't make out the words. Later, when Erica goes home, she doesn't remember what happened in the woods. It's a secret, even from herself. After that, the old woman in her little girl's shape meets Erica in the woods every day. She tells her she lives with her sweet old auntie in a pretty little cabin on the tippity top of a hill. She loves me ever so much, the old woman says in a little girl voice, more than anybody ever did. More than your mommy and daddy? Erica asks. My mama and daddy never loved me. They made me work hard at chores and beat me black and blue and made me sleep on the floor by the fireplace 'cause I was so bad. My parents would never do that. Oh, yes, they would. Parents never love their little ones. They can't wait to get rid of them. You'll see. One day, they'll get fed up with you and start treating you bad, just the way mine did. Erica stares at her and the little girl smiles. Things are going well. Erica believes everything the girl tells her. They already love your brother more than you. It's true, Erica says. They've always loved Daniel best. My auntie's keeping an eye on you, the little girl says in her sweet little false little voice. She loves you, even though you don't know it yet, and she aims to rescue you and bring you to her cabin where me and you will live like sisters. The little girl pats Erica's hand. Come live with us before they start into beating you and scolding you and making you sleep by the fire. Why, they could kill you dead one night. Erica draws back a little. You're scaring me. The little girl says, There ain't nothing to be scared of. Come away with me and I'll keep you safe. Will I have to go to school? School? No, indeed. Old Auntie got no use for school. She'll teach you all you need to know. Erica nods her head. Yes, she'll come with the little girl and stay with her and Old Auntie and never go to school again. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon. The old woman sees the brother watching from the woods. He can't see her, but he knows someone is there. I must go, she whispers to Erica, and slips away into the woods.